Lutz, and I'm here with my co-host,
Jake.
And we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. How's it going today, Tank?
Busy day. Good day. We had postponed the assembly meeting tonight to get the documents squared away. Michelle Walker had a conversation with Muhammad Ali's wife.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess she's going to represent and appeal to the women to support Lawful America. So it's pretty exciting. So she's going to help us grow that base. So happy about that. Always good to have people that other people recognize, and also she's doing it for free, so that's always good.
Yes.
And worked on that, and just been a busy day.
Well, it's a busy.
Kind of worked through the night. Put out a report this morning. Put out my 10 hot topics to focus on for the week.
Well, that's an interesting approach. 10 hot topics. I was thinking, there are several of these things that we're following all at one time, right? And don't know which one is gonna, progress at any particular day. So, like for example, today it's indictments. So there's news on indictments, but it may be quite unofficial, right? Like a leaked information and one YouTube. Video that has already been removed that went through all the indictments that are already there, and again unconfirmed, but it does seem very plausible, the list and what their charges are, and some are still waiting for other grand juries to come down, so there's even more indictments coming from other grand juries. So I can bring this up. Let's show this. Let me switch my screen here. So this is the Twitter account for Qanon 76, and then it says the treason meme was first posted by now suspended account the Trump Train, right? 11/28/18. So this is this image right here. It's been used quite a lot, right? And recently, here, Brennan was added, to the mix, so you can actually see there was quite a few of them behind bars, and very notable, right? And then this one, Brennan, was added. So here's a new video just put out and already gone, but they have this up on another site for video214.com. But I'll go ahead and play this now. It's about 6 minutes long, but the first 2 minutes gives all the information about who's being indicted. Boom, boom, boom.
It's just, yeah. All right, it's a shopping list. So you got to pay close attention. And if you need something redone, just say stop, and I'll do it over. So, Loretta Lynch, indicted, 3 counts, conspiracy to overthrow the government. 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 3 counts of lying to Congress. Sally Yates, 3 counts conspiracy to overthrow the government, 3 counts obstruction of justice. John Brennan, 3 counts conspiracy to overthrow the government, 3 counts of lying to Congress, 2 counts of lying to investigators, 1 count of conspiracy to commit treason.
So this is of this list, Brennan's the only one that has conspiracy to commit treason listed. I found that interesting.
So, did you get all 12 or no? You just got the...
No. I just stopped it right there just to make the point about treason. But I'll continue. Alyssa, you have. Should I continue?
Yeah, please.
Oh, okay.
3 counts of obstruction of justice.
Pause there. Who was that?
Brennan.
John Brennan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure everybody got that big name there where you heard conspiracy to commit treason. That's this stuff is jumping up the chain very quickly. Go ahead, Mike.
James Clapper, 3 counts conspiracy to overthrow the government, 2 counts of lying to Congress. CIA operatives indicted, no charge. 4 CIA operatives indicted, no charges listed, which means that I wasn't given those and I don't have their names. James Comey, 3 counts conspiracy to overthrow the government, 6 counts of perjury, 4 counts of obstruction of justice, 4 counts of falsifying government documents. Andrew McCabe, 3 counts of conspiracy to overthrow the government, 2 counts of perjury, 3 counts of lying to Congress, 1 count of falsifying documents. Bruce Orr, 3 counts of conspiracy. What the conspiracy is unknown, but it's 3 counts of some kind of conspiracy. I don't have the actual charge. 1 count of falsifying documents. Baker, indictment, charges unknown. Struck.
Just one point on Baker. Baker looks like, from what QAnon was saying, is that he was the one that originally flipped and started, flipped on and gave information. So it's just interesting that they don't, that there's charges, but they're being, he didn't have that information. A couple more. Here we go.
3 counts of conspiracy to overthrow the government, 4 counts of perjury, 3 counts of falsifying documents.
4 counts of falsifying documents on Strzok?
Struck. 4 counts of perjury, 3 counts of falsifying documents. But he's still subject to another grand jury.
I know.
Over a lot of these guys, yeah.
I'm trying to do the math on. It's not because the counts matter to me. What I'm trying to figure out is, okay, so if he's got those 3 counts falsifying documents, which 3 documents would Strzok have been in a position to falsify? That's where my brain's going.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to put the pieces together. Go ahead.
Well, it could be anything. It could be a 302.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it could be anything. So, yeah. All right, Page, 3 counts of conspiracy to overthrow the government, 3 counts of perjury, 1 count of obstruction of justice. Rod Rosenstein, 5 various charges, exact unknown at this time. Susan Rice, illegal use of government systems, 3 counts of perjury, 1 count of obstruction.
They got her! They got her on the fucking 702s! Yeah! Yes!
Looks like it.
Yes!
But she's also subject of another grand jury as well. So,
yeah,
in fact, most of these are. Yeah, except for Struck, Page, and I think, except for Struck and Page and Baker. The rest of them are even Comey and McCabe are subject to other grand juries still. So
that's the list. It's got another couple minutes, but they're just starting to talk about it. So it's just again, don't know if this is accurate. It's like leaked information, but it's interesting that it was already taken down. So we'll see. We'll see if it comes about, because we've got this, and we also have General Flynn being exonerated this week. That's like on Fox with Maria, and then also Nunes also on Fox talking about this as well. So we've got a lot of stuff starting to brew, but the one thing that is also part of this is that that we have QAnon basically says when we hit FISA, the FISA a declassification, that's when things start. So we haven't even started yet, right? But we can feel that we're now cresting, right? We've been pushing up the hill a long time. We seem like we're right at the top. right? And we get Flynn exonerated. I know Trump had answered a question about Flynn. I thought was a pretty wise question to ask from the press. As if Flynn is actually exonerated, would Trump bring him back to give him the original role he was going to fill? And Trump declined to answer that, but he did say that what happened to Flynn was a scam. It was a tragedy, and should never ever happen again.
Wow.
So, yeah, a lot of stuff just ready to come out.
Yeah, I guess so. Holy cow. I guess, I don't know if that's anything there that's changing the world, but hey, it's Monday. That's always good. Always makes me happy when things come out on Monday, because speaks well of things that come later in the week.
Right. So there's a lot of stuff that is brewing. So I'm expecting that we're going to end up seeing more of these things coming down the line. But there's just been this countdown. I'm not exactly showing it to you. I'm showing it to our audience here for these same treason trials, right? The countdown of the treason trials. If you look at the name of the JPEG, so that same meme that I show you with everyone behind bars. The original one said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, dot JPEG. So it had this. So then they've been coming out with less, and now it's at underscore JPEG now. So the countdown has been, counted down. We're at 0. That's why we're cresting, again. So I think it's a pretty telltale sign that this stuff is all moving right now, moving down the line. But anyway, before we get into that, any news from Kim?
No, nothing. There was I didn't even really reach out to her today, to be honest, just because I was so busy. But no, nothing. She didn't share anything. Okay. So I'm holding my breath to see what transpires. I feel like the thing, people getting arrested, it means there's less bad guys around to obstruct justice, right? And I don't know. So I guess we'll see. I'm just watching carefully to see what transpires next, and staying focused on what we're doing, because if not, I'm going to go crazy. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I hear you. It's been a long time. Well, where we're at 418 today is the straight broadcast in a row. So it'll be good to move this forward, right? Get the flowing of the capital into the hands of the people, so that we can start moving. But it seems like this has been what needs to happen in general, right? The Great Awakening part of the getting through all of the stuff that's been thrown at us, all of this plan, right? That they were set to destroy us with. Right, and just make it through all of these battles, right? And this pandemic is now being called the plandemic, right? So it's part of their plan. The plandemic, we're now just making it through. Some states are opening up. It's the information about Fauci is coming about. The other thing that's kind of brewing is a kind of a controversy about George Webb. I mentioned him on one of our broadcasts, and he was talking about the coronavirus, how it got started in Wuhan, and how Fauci was tied into it, and the patents, all really interesting information. That he presented it so well, but he was also tied in a couple of other things. That was about this religious sect out of South Korea, and how that they were responsible for going to these military games and stuff that were going on in Wuhan. And then he tied it to a woman named Benassi. And in fact, he basically tied in a whole group of people at Benassi, named Benassi, that are all tied in with the military-industrial complex, NATO, the different Benassis, right? All with the name Benassi. But this woman named Benassi was a cyclist in these games in Wuhan, and he claimed that she was patient zero. So CNN comes out with a hit piece on George Webb, calling him a conspiracy theorist. Right, and this is how bad these conspiracy theorists, because they can ruin lives, and I was just wondering if this was all, because George Webb, providing all this information was very well polished, and I wasn't sure about this. Was he connected to Alex Jones? Because he had mentioned some things as though he was talking about InfoWars and Alex Jones, and I had stopped listening to Alex, though he's very entertaining and provide a lot of information. I just always wondered if he was part of the controlled opposition, meant to act crazy, because he does act out, and now George. I wonder if that's tied into this as well, just another way of slamming conspiracy theorists. So let me go ahead and let me pull this up. This was the hit piece from CNN. I'll share it with you so you can follow along.
Sure.
So I'm going to roll it back. Here we go.
Army reservist has had her life turned upside down by a conspiracy theory that falsely claims she is coronavirus patient zero. Chinese media has spread this conspiracy, leading to her home address being posted online and even to death threats. Donnie O'Sullivan joins us now with a CNN exclusive. So what's this about, Donnie?
Yeah, listen, we often hear about the dangers of online conspiracy theories, but imagine becoming the target of one. Mahia Benassi, a U.S. Army reservist, is living through that right now. We spent the past few weeks talking to her and her family. Take a look.
It's like waking up from a bad dream, going into a nightmare, like day after day.
This is Mahia Benassi. She and her husband Matt are in the center of an elaborate conspiracy theory promoted by George Webb.
This goes back to our story here, which is patient zero, which is Mahia Benassi.
He's a conspiracy theorist who has nearly 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. He falsely claims, without any evidence, that Mahia brought the virus to China during a cycling competition. Mahia is in the U.S. Army Reserve, and last October she competed in the Military World Games in Wuhan, China. 6 months later, comments under Webb's YouTube videos about the Benassis have become the stuff of nightmares.
Execute them by firing squad. We need to be killing these key people. These people will get a bullet to the skull.
This March 20th here.
The conspiracy theory has even reached China. Webb has been featured in media controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, which has sought to deflect blame for the coronavirus.
We've gone to law enforcement because they're not direct threats. There's not a lot that they can actually do. For folks like us, it's just too expensive to litigate something like this.
Could you talk me through the specific evidence you have that she is, as you described, coronavirus patient zero?
Yeah, well, I have to, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence, and then there's a source here that I cannot reveal.
So, specifically on Mahia Benassi, how do you know that she has the coronavirus or has antibodies, or how do you know that for sure?
Well, I have a source at the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, and she actually works at, or I have someone saying that she works at the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, and she tested positive for the coronavirus.
She denies that.
She denies that? Does she deny that she works at the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital?
She denies that she's had the coronavirus, that she has any symptoms of the coronavirus. A YouTube spokesperson told CNN the company is committed to promoting accurate information about the coronavirus and taking down misinformation when it's flagged by users. YouTube took down some trending comments under Webb's videos after CNN asked about them.
A couple years ago, I was diagnosed with a rare cancer. Dealing with that situation is way easier than trying to deal with this George Webb situation.
It's getting out of hand and it needs to stop.
You can see there how this clearly has upended their lives. While the allegations about the Benassis may be wildly untrue, the threats they face and the fear they feel are very real. The couple say they've tried to keep track of these false videos on YouTube, but it has been overwhelming. Alison, clearly YouTube, which is owned by Google, needs to be doing more to stop the likes of this.
Tony, I think you just exposed in a very effective fashion what conspiracy theorists do. They've heard something. They draw some lines on a whiteboard because they see connections in places. They have one source who may have heard something somewhere. I mean, it's just all nonsense. And yet people fall for it.
Yeah, and you can see there are real life victims here. And of course, this is all in the sort of a stew of a geopolitical tensions right now between China and the US. China, of course, trying to blame in some way the US government for the start of the coronavirus outbreak, something which, of course, we should mention the US government says is ridiculous.
Thank you for exposing.
So this is now, of course, coming from CNN, fake news central, right? So we want to look at this from one point of view. Is she patient zero or not? The rest of the stuff that George Webb was saying, has a lot of validity, right? That you can draw lines from. His lines for drawing for the people that were in the religious sect and them being responsible for that. I really didn't catch how he put that all together from the religious sect and Benassi and how that tied together.
Yeah, I find it to be incredibly hypocritical. Is there anyone that's been more outed as being fraudulent than CNN?
Right.
And all conspiracy theorists, they draw some lines on a board and they have one witness say, wait a minute. Is this the same group that will basically take a soundbite, like President Trump would say, I'd never say I'd hit a woman. And they take the one part where he says, I'd hit a woman. And then they replay it over and over ad nauseum.
You mean like when Trump? You mean like when Trump said for everyone to drink Clorox?
Oh my gosh!
So it's like when they present this kind of information, listen, I'm willing to draw some lines on the board and put them out here, right? And say some of them may be true, some of them may not, but I want to analyze these lines. I'm a conspiracy analyst.
Right.
So I want to see. I'm going to listen to George Webb. He's very, very good. He presents the information well. He presents it in a way that's easy to grasp for some very complicated issues. His anything else that I may be also looking at as is he controlled opposition? I do not know. Right? But I would say, a row between CNN and him will end up boosting George Webb.
Yeah, no,
right?
You can see it either way. This is part of what Thomas has been talking about, right? They're saying, look, all the alternate media is corrupted, right? Which, I'm not, you're not, but I guess we're a small piece of the pie, right? But these guys that get these big followings, I can see them being corrupted, right? They want to make it big, and they're being told something. So, But it wouldn't surprise me either way. I mean, it doesn't make CNN any much less a pack of hypocrites, but
right. and you know, I keep going back, like you know, looking at Alex Jones. You know, it was kind of funny because, you know, Alex Jones, you know, I liked a lot of the information he was presenting. You know, the way he was presenting it was entertaining, right? So that was another good part of it. But then there was the controversy between him and Glenn Beck, right? And so, you know, I always liked Glenn Beck, and I liked Alex Jones. I said, so, and each one was basically claiming the other was a clown. You know, clown in America, right? So, but I had one thing for certain, that my own personal experience, my own spiritual guidance, was I went to an event of Glenn Beck on Independence Day, where he was doing. It was an outdoor event, Man in the Moon. I even brought some people to get red pilled with me, paid for their expenses to come to this event that were in kind of high up in the Democratic Party in California, and you know, just to, you know, have the conversation, right? But on the day that this event was to take place, it was heavy rain, right? Like the storm came from nowhere. And it was very early morning. We're at breakfast, you know, and everyone said, "Well, I guess we can't go. It's an outdoor event. It's raining like this." So I said, "No, we're gonna go. We'll see. Maybe it clears up." And basically, as we're driving up to the event, you know, the rain stopped. I got out of the car in the parking lot and walking up to the gates of this outdoor arena, right? And literally the clouds parted, and a light came down, and like a spotlight from the sun right on the arena, and two rainbows appeared. I say, that's a double rainbow. I think that there's something special going on here. You know, the rainbow is known as a covenant with God, and this was very much about America. And so at that point, it kind of settled for me, like where Glenn Beck was. You know, Alex Jones.
I like that with this. That's a great story.
Yeah, so I always keep my eye on whatever Glenn Beck is doing, and what he teaches and how he presents information, and it's good information. You know, I also know that Glenn Beck was responsible for another event that I participated in afterwards. What I mean by that is the Mormon Tabernacle Choir meets in the Tabernacle, right? It's a massive building. Glenn Beck organized to have a meeting there at one point. I might be a little bit wrong about this. I know he had some involvement. I don't know if he was organizer. I shouldn't say it that way. But there was this event that was going on where all the ministers and pastors and all these other religious leaders from across the country were brought for a meeting, and they held it in the Mormon Tabernacle Choir as a meeting place. And there, looks like we lost Tank for a bit, so he'll probably come back. So in this event that was going on, what it was about was all of these ministers and pastors and religious leaders were all very upset because they felt that the government was going to force them to perform gay marriages, or force them to, carry people that they didn't want. They basically said, if you're in those particular religions and you were gay, they were saying this is a sin. This is against God, and you can't do it. So, whatever you want to believe, there's churches that don't believe that, right? But forcing the ones to do it, they were worried, right, about this. And this particular event, I think, was being presented. It was presented in a way as for them to all discuss it. So what are they going to do? How can they basically resolve this? You know, what are the steps they're going to take? So what I said that I got involved afterwards was because I said, the solution to me was obvious. Stop marrying people under a license. Just stop. There is no reason you need to have a license to be married. What that marriage license is about is more about combining cargo on a manifest under maritime shipping. So just put things in perspective. Licenses are for things that are illegal to do otherwise. And what is the reason a marriage government should have any say in a marriage? They should not have any say. And so what were marriage documents in the past? You write the name in the family Bible. This family and under this name and this name, they became husband and wife on this day and they signed it right there in the Bible. There was no. So I basically suggested, and we did some research. We put together a documentation about what the basis of law is, and we gave that out to the people that organized this event, and said, have people stop marrying people. Then they can't force you to marry or not marry people. If you're not going to marry people under this, because you're basically defining your jurisdiction as not something that they have jurisdiction over, so they can't force you. So that was the tactic. And again, the churches that wanted to do that, to marry people, they could marry people of the same sex. They could marry dogs and cats together if they wanted. But that's up to them, right? Not up for a government to get involved with. So anyway, that was the position, and we were that we kind of got involved with. So there's things that we can do. I'm just checking to make sure we're still streaming here. Oh, we are. Okay. It's like Tank has not made it back on. So, but we'll keep rolling here for a bit. See if we're gonna keep coming back to this. So, these things that have been brewing with like the media coming out and saying this is fake news, or this is a conspiracy theory. We have to really start looking for the ways to draw a comparison. That's what I was trying to do here, and really say that, listen, there's information all over the place. I can be completely wrong about something. I've talked about George Webb. I found his information, the way he presented it, wonderful, right? Very, very well spoken. Was able to, use an analogy of like Shakespeare's play, right, to make you people understand. Hey, the people that are trying to put these pieces together, it's very confusing. There's so much information, but putting it together in an analogy that people can then say, yeah, it cleared it up for me. I was like, I kind of got all the pieces together, but having someone present it in a way that's very easy. Now I've used this explanation of it's a play, and you basically have different authors from different plays. You take a chapter out of one of their plays and stick it in the middle of Shakespeare. When you get to that, it's just going to be different, right? It's a different author. It's just quite a different piece, right? And you made it past that piece. You keep reading. Oh, we're back to Shakespeare. Oh, I recognize we're back in Shakespeare. Oh, it's a new chapter, and this is completely another author. So this kind of thing was a very good way to explain how 3 different patented information chains of DNA code that came out of HIV that were patented by Vanassi, Burke, and I forgot the other guy's name, that were all the same people appearing up there with Trump, right? Saying this is this is the reason why, right? That made it very clear. And then you come out with more information where Dr. Shiva's talking about fallacy is here's an article that he wrote that said vitamin C is a great way to keep the virus from catching the virus, right? But when he's asked about it now, he downplays vitamin C. But better bet that fallacy is taking vitamin C every day to prevent himself from catching the virus. So it just helps putting all this information together. So let's see. So there's Tank has not come back yet, so don't know what's happened there, but that's all right. Let me just bring up something here, and this is I think well worth mentioning. I got this off of our Telegram group for Lawful America. This is the link to the National Assembly. That's a www.national-assembly.net/the-50-states-status. So this is a list. This is a list of the national assemblies and how they're starting up, right? So we have this is different states and how many people are already involved with them, and so it is spreading, right? It is coming about. So this is something that everyone should get involved, especially in every state. But if there isn't something already going on, well, like there's definitely something started in Ohio, right? So this is well underway for a long time. People have been know how to do this because it's stuff that our grandparents were doing, right? They knew about doing this, assembling as the people to take on any issue, right? But they've changed it, right? So we don't know what to do anymore. We just have to rediscover our roots. That's, I think, part of this. So, I'm looking. Actually, someone is continually trying to reach me right now. Looks like they need to talk to me about something. Well, maybe this might be a good place to make a break. See what, because it might be important, and we've already been going on for 40 minutes. We'll make it a shorter show, and since Tank hasn't made it back on yet, so I'll just say that we'll break it here, and I appreciate everyone's that coming in and joining us. We get 1,000 to 2,000 people viewing this every day. I don't know how many per month that we're reaching, but not everyone always watches every day, so some people only watch every couple days. But it does show that we have a strong audience that sticks with us, right? And I know that we have started moving, but it looks like this censorship has kind of dialed back up again. I just noticed. It just seems like, and there's other people in YouTube world has been saying the same thing. Dustin Nemos has also made some mention about it recently also. So, but I think maybe it's a good time for us to really look at really starting to build up on one of these other sites, right? This battle is not going to be over next month. It's going to increase the scrutiny against us. This channel may just disappear, right? We put up stuff that was already taken down. We talk about it. So maybe I look at like in Pursuit of Truth, he's built up his BitChute account, but he's got like 40,000 followers, over there. And you know, if he can have 40,000 followers over there, built up over a span of a couple of months, I think we can do the same thing. I think we would be branching out and getting into the mix, and really maybe this is something we should try and focus on doing, and maybe go live over there. I don't know if it's possible to go live there. Maybe want to post there, and do more limited things here on YouTube, but focus on everything over there. Putting the videos on our website, www.wga.love. It's also one way we could go and build up that that channel. So anyway, this is it's one thing I think we should maybe possibly look at doing. All right, well, I encourage everyone to subscribe, even check and make sure you're still subscribed, and then share the video, give some thumbs up. Let's see if we can still move things forward anyway here in YouTube. Do our best, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right.